It's finally time to do our first cooking video.
Welcome to my kitchen.
We're here at Amanda's house. This works a little easier doing it here. A little better setup. We have everything set out to do our Morel mushroom pasta. It should be a very interesting thing. So we're gonna put links in the description for a lot of this stuff. We're gonna start out with, we have 2 ounces of dehydrated morels. You can actually buy these on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description for that. You can buy 1 ounce, 2 ounce, up to 16 ounces. So remember, it's roughly 1 dried ounce makes roughly 1 pound of mushrooms. So we're gonna do a double batch today.
And they are a little pricey, but
they're a little pricey. It's a little over 20 bucks for that. 1 pound's about 14, depends on if they're running a deal. Today we are not using linguine. We're not using any long pasta. We are using campanelli, and we're using 2 of these. I actually really like this pasta a lot. It holds sauce well. So 2 boxes of that.
We are making a double batch today, though. So
right. We have a lot of family and friends that are into this big time.
Yep.
We have something a little bit different here. This is pepper medley in a grinder. And so this has 4 different kinds of pepper in it. This is a lot more flavorful than black pepper. There again, everybody may not like this. You can use whatever you want. We're going to use margarine this time. You can use real butter. Real butter does make it very rich. Some people don't like that. So for this time here, we're using margarine. You can do whatever variant you want. And we will be using, I would say, anywhere from a little over a half, probably 3/4 of a stick for a double batch. And we'll use a little under a half for a single batch, and so on. Next up, we have the Pecorino. Instead of the Parmigiano cheese, we're going to use this. This is Pecorino. This has a lot more flavor to it. This is made from sheep milk. A lot of people don't know that, but that gives it the crazy vibrant taste that we need here. You can buy this at your local grocery store. If I could find it on Amazon, I'll put a link, but it's cold, so perhaps not.
Right.
And then lastly, this is a must-have. I bought this a little while back. This is a cheese grinder, and for cheeses like this, or Parmesan cheese, you could grind a mountain of it in a couple seconds. And instead of using a little grater, that's gonna take you literally forever.
And we just have olive oil.
Yep, whatever type or kind you want.
And then Italian parsley.
Italian parsley. You could use regular parsley. You could use no parsley. You could use basil. You could use whatever you prefer. And now this particular recipe has no garlic or no onions. What we don't want to do is mess with the flavor. This has a wonderful mushroom flavor. So we're trying not to make anything that's going to cover up the flavor. As you notice, there's no cream. This is Alfredo base, but this is a true Italian style pasta, so no heavy cream. We're gonna show you how to make the sauce without that, so let's get started. So first thing we're gonna do, we have basically cool to room temperature water. Some guys say you could use warm water with this. We're gonna change this water out several times. You need to soak for about, I don't know if Amanda's knife.
You want a pair of scissors?
Oh, Amanda's knife's gonna be up to the par on this one or not.
Here.
I got it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, you should have brought your knife, Nathan.
Should have bought my little knife. Okay. You can see they're essentially just dried. They have that smell to them.
Yeah. So is there bugs in there or not? Since
there could be.
Morels
And that's
have them.
so what we're gonna do here. We're gonna dump all in the bowl. We're gonna try to press them down. Probably put a little more water in it. And they're gonna give them 30 minutes.
You got one in there if you want that one.
After 30 minutes, we're going to pull them out of the bowl. We're gonna put them on a cutting board, cut them all in half, and then rinse them a couple times. Then they're ready to go into the frying pan. And we're actually gonna fry these in olive oil a little bit and season them. We're gonna slice anything like this off the end of them. We're gonna cut them in half, like so. Amanda's knife is maybe not the sharpest thing in the world, but cut them all in half. You don't want a big giant mushroom in each bite, And once they get real little, we won't have to do that. And right now they're kind of soggy. Once we put them in the skillet and cook them in olive oil, they're going to firm right back up.
Okay guys, we have our water at a raging boil, and then we're going to add a teaspoon of salt to the water. This is just going to help season the pasta so we don't have to add too much later on. We're going to, like I said, we're doubling this batch, so we're going to add 2 full boxes of pasta to the water. Put the 1 box in, I'm going to give it a quick stir. Then I'm going to add the other box into it. And hopefully tomorrow I'll get this thing off my arm. Okay, so we're just going to let that boil for about 10 minutes or until the pasta gets tender. So Nathan has these all cut up now, and we're just gonna, we dumped our water out of our bowl, and we're just gonna put them back in our bowl until we're ready to saute them with our butter.
We'll rinse them once or twice just to make sure there's no bugs.
Okay, yeah, you're right. We're going to rinse them a couple times.
Because now we cut them open. On Morels, if there's bugs, will be inside of them. The tiny little ones, we didn't cut those in half. You know, it's just
and actually, I'm going to let me get my strainer out so we can rinse them pretty well. Get all the water out of there.
First of all, I'll get some olive oil. So just enough in there where stuff's not going to burn, but not too much. Because you want to be able to use everything in the pasta because you have all the mushroom flavor in there. We're going to go ahead and crank this on. Turn it up a little bit at first, and then we'll turn it down. We'll go ahead and let this heat up for a second. We don't want those to absorb all the oil.
Right.
So we'll crank it up.
So now we're going to put the mushrooms into the oil. I guess it's okay if there's a little bit of water in there, Nathan, huh?
Yeah, go ahead. It'll burn off.
Don't want to waste any
We're
of
going to
them.
spread them out a little bit, and this is going to firm all those up very nicely. And like I said, enough olive oil. We're going to cook these until it cooks the water off, but not the oil off, obviously. And as they get closer to the end, we're going to salt and pepper these.
Perfect. Mm-hmm.
Perfect? Mm-hmm. Okay. We'll shut it down. Now remember, for every box of pasta you cook, you need to save at least 1 full cup of the pasta water to put back in. That's what's going to make our cream sauce. So we need to save at least 2 cups. We have a big measuring cup here. We're just going to save that, and then we're going to end up with the pot with only the pasta and no water. And we're just going to add back to it.
And we got our mushrooms going now. Turn the burner down a little bit.
I'm cooking all that water, and that's going to firm these up very nicely. All right, so we have our strainer set up. We're just going to go ahead and dump a little bit in the bottom yet. Let's put this back on the burner. The burner is off. I'm going to set that right there because we're going to use that again here in a minute. So once these are done, these are almost done. See how it's drying up? Only the oil is left. All the water is gone. We're gonna go in and season with our pepper medley. And then we're gonna go in and then get a salt shaker here.
That's sea salt now.
Yeah, that's fine. We're not overdoing it on the salt on these. Just like a real, I'll probably turn that maybe half a turn, the whole thing. So let's go ahead and turn these off. These are done. Let's go ahead and turn this back on. Is this one or this one?
The front burner is this one.
Let's go ahead and turn that to like a low medium. These are done. You can see, look at that. Look at that.
And what were you saying a while ago about the mushrooms in California?
Okay, so how a lot of these are on the market right now, if you know Morels very well, they're very hard. Knock the piece on the floor.
That's all right.
They're very difficult to get, all right? And ordinarily, you never be able to get enough of them to use in a pasta like this. So we're gonna stir these up. like so. But in California, how the wildfires, after the wildfires were over, the next spring, the whole place is full of morel mushrooms. They were growing like crazy, like total crazy. So we're gonna get some of this water here for the pasta.
You want a ladle to
And that's gonna, yeah, it's gonna dip the whole thing in here.
Okay.
And make sure we get a whole cup of it. Don't dump that out yet. We're gonna put a little bit of this in here.
You got like 3 cups in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna add a little bit to it. Put that right here. And then we're gonna get our spoon, reach right in front of the camera. And it's like a real nice glossy looking pasta at this point. We're gonna have Amanda get the butter for us. It was on the table. We need about 3/4 of a stick. So I'll put her on getting that done for us. And we're gonna mix that in next. And how you tell is you go here and you look. It's a little bit hard. This pan's a little bit short. But you could go like this and rake it and see if there's how much sauce there is in the bottom. And you always go with a little bit of water. You can always have more water. You cannot take it out. 3/4 of a stick, I would say about right there. And then we'll chuck that thing in here. The burner's on very low. That's gonna melt really quickly. We're gonna put a little bit more fire to it. We need to add, as I'm brushing it back, I can see the bottom of the pan. There's no liquid in it. We're gonna put a little bit more in it. I tell you what we actually might do with this so you guys can see it better. I think this will all fit in that skillet, won't it? It'll be a lot more spread out. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm gonna reach around Philip here. Yep. And let's go to the front. Let's turn that on a little bit. Let's transfer this into this because I can't see how much of the cream per se is on the bottom of it.
Yeah, we don't want to stick to the bottom of the pan. You're gonna make it? No, barely.
That is a lot of pasta. I'm gonna hand you this back for one more mushroom in there. And you got it?
Yeah.
Try to hand to you too quickly. Boy, it's barely gonna fit here.
Just be careful when you stir it.
So you can see it looks very rich and creamy. And we're gonna look on the bottom, tilt the pan up and look when we rake it. There's not really any water on it yet, so we're gonna add a little more to it.
Now remember, you're using a metal thing in my skillet.
Okay, yeah, let's switch out here. Let's switch. I'm gonna dirty one more of your spoons here with the slots. And oh man, we'll leave that out of there. So as we're raking, we're looking. There's a little bit on there. So what we're gonna do next is, it's just on low heat. We're gonna go in with the pecorino. We got some in there, we're probably gonna need more than that. And this is gonna add 2 things, flavor and salt. Because if you tasted it right now, it will be very, very, very bland. So Amanda, get the other piece of pecorino out of the baggie there. And this, between the butter, the pasta water with the starch, and this will make the whole dish come together. Probably need more pecorino in it. Probably need more pecorino and a little bit of salt.
Yeah, salt.
Oh my God. Let's do that. Let's do just that then. We're all done here. We're going to show you guys. So we did do one mistake. We're trying to film and do everything else. Forgot to put the parsley in early on. Ordinarily, you put that in. You could put it in with the mushrooms when you're cooking those. Here's the finished product. A little more pecorino on top. It took a lot more pecorino, a lot more pasta water added back into this, and a lot more salt at the end because it was 2 whole packs of pasta. So one box, ordinarily, that's what everybody ordinarily fix. That would be a lot more easy to control that. This was kind of out of control a little bit. But it does have a nice cream sauce on it. And we have some extra pasta water left over. If you want to reheat this, you can add a little bit to it. So you can add regular water to it. You get a nice little shot here. There's enough mushroom to pasta ratio where it's just about right.
Mushrooms are very nice.
Yep. And
taste that.
the smokiness from the mushrooms. You could do this with fresh morels. It would not be maybe as flavorful.
Very good. I'm impressed with the morels. Like, I feel like they taste as good as fresh. Really.
I think it tastes better. I think the drying process has a little bit of fermentation to them, and also the smokiness
Yeah, the smokiness
from where they're picked at makes this an awesome dish. If you have fresh morels, it might be a little bit on the bland side in a pasta dish, but you just have to get your salt ratio right. And as you add pecorino, that adds salt. As you add a little salt at the very end to season it, you could also use like a vegetable stock. But see what I mean, though? You don't really introduce anything stronger in it, or you're not going to be able to taste the mushrooms.
Right. Yeah.
You're not going to be able to taste the pecorino.
So serve it with a salad or some garlic bread, and well, maybe not garlic for you, but butter bread.
And that's the situation. So, like I said, a great dish. Everything went really good, except for us forgetting to add the parsley in when it was cooking.
Very good, though. Very impressed.
Definitely give it a 10 out of 10. This is a very nice dish,
Yes.
very easy to fix.
Yes.
And overall,
very simple, actually. Very simple recipe. If you're having people over or something, and
this double dish was about $30 to fix this. So to put that in perspective, to go eat fast food is what, about 13 to 17 bucks a person to get a meal.
and we're going to be feeding a lot of people with this. So.
Right. A lot of friends and neighbors are going to get some of this. It should be very interesting. It's going to be it, guys, for today's video.
Stay tuned for Friday for another MRE of some sort, or the we have maybe a survival kit we can talk about later.
We have a lot of stuff coming in for sure. And that's going to be it. We'll see you very soon.
All right. Have a good day.